To retire or not to retire, that is the question. I think we can be pretty sure that they are words that weren't actually uttered by Shakespeare himself. The average life expectancy in Shakespeare's time was 35, largely due to child mortality. And scholars think that Shakespeare probably died around the age of 54. Some of us in this room are actually contemplating when we should retire. Many of you in this room are not even thinking about retirement because naturally you're at the start of your careers. So in this particular talk, I'm actually going to focus on three things. Firstly, I'm going to talk about the joy, pleasure, and achievement of working with our students. Secondly, I'm going to talk about the brevity of life. And thirdly, I'm going to share some thoughts on the opportunity to leave a legacy. Now, some of you may have come across this quotation before. It wasn't actually Paul Tsongas that said it, but one of his friends. No one on his deathbed ever said, "I wish I had spent more time in the office." Well, my question to you is, it depends what office. The gentleman in the front row here is in the picture there, presenting me with the university's first ever Lifetime Achievement Award for Research, which I'm privileged and delighted to actually receive. I had a first career in the National Health Service, where I worked for 32 years. I came to the University of Bolton in September 2012. This September, I have been here for 14 years. If I had been at the University of Cambridge, on the 30th of September last year, I would have had to retire. So thank God I'm not at the University of Cambridge. And I hope to go on for some more years yet. So turning to my first theme, the joy, pleasure, and achievement of working with students. And several of my students are actually in the room today, but I don't think the students I'm going to talk about are here, so I can say what I want about them. So, the first one, Dr. Mark Durkin. So, Mark Durkin had one GCSE in art. He was persuaded by someone from a local college to come and do an access course here, and under the mentorship of the remarkable Albert Phipps, he did very well on that. He then embarked on an undergraduate degree in psychology, and he got a first-class honours. I was asked to supervise his final year project, which was a tremendous privilege, and it was the beginning of a relationship between Mark and myself. Mark went on to do a master's degree. He got a distinction, and then thanks to a scholarship from Jane Howarth, he actually was able to do a PhD. He's now a lecturer at Leeds Trinity University. He did not come from a conventional educational background, as very few of our students here do. We actually embrace the widening participation agenda, and I can reassure you that we do not discriminate against anyone who comes from Eton College. Mind you, I don't think we've ever had anyone from Eton College. So, Mark, Dr. Chathurika Kanangra walked into my office in June 2013 and said, "I'm your new PhD student." Well, it was news to me. I wasn't expecting her there then, and we'd only had a brief Skype interview a few weeks before, and in those days, Skype wasn't as good as it is today. It's been superseded by Zoom, of course. So I didn't recognize her. But arriving then, what she has achieved in that short period of 12 years, she became an associate lecturer, then a lecturer, then an assistant Terry professor, then an associate Terry professor, and I don't think she's finished yet. She's the University Director of Research Quality here. And many people in this room will know her and what a phenomenal person she is. You hear about the American dream. Well, maybe this is the British dream, that she has come here and achieved so much. And this university has supported her all the way. Even when she was a PhD student, she was very entrepreneurial and managed to get 3 different managers to fund a trip to the Positive Psychology Conference in Florida. I'm still waiting for such a trip. The third student is Lisa Ogilvie. Lisa Ogilvie had a background in computing. She then did a master's in counseling and positive psychology. As soon as she finished that, she did a PhD with me on addiction. She actually, in the space of 3 years, she is now the world's leading researcher on Scopus discovery on addiction recovery. Absolutely remarkable, and it just shows what is possible with hard work. So let me move from some of our students then to my second theme, the brevity of life. So this is a picture of me on my first communion day. I was probably 6 years old then. Little did I know that 10 years after that, my mother would die. The single event that transformed my own life. Now, even though I lost my mother at that young age, I was determined she would not be forgotten. So I had a 25th anniversary Mass for her, and with the help of my wonderful PhD student, Shahar, who produced this booklet, I had a 50th anniversary Mass for her as well in Belfast, where she was born, where I was born. And if I were to imagine the congregation in the church that day, I look over at my sister Michelle. 11 months later, she was dead. I look over at my Aunt Teresa. 6 months after that, she was dead. A year after that, my cousin Pauline had died. The brevity of life. The brevity of life. We must make sure we treasure the people we love while we have them with us. This is my mentor, great as Professor McGee is, wonderful as Professor McGee is. This man is my mentor, Professor Kevin Gurney, a remarkable man, and one of the most positive men I know. Anytime you go to him with an idea, he gives you positive feedback. One of the things that happens in life is sometimes it's only when we die that we get to hear the impact we've had on people. So I thought about doing something called a living tribute. And I contacted Kevin and I said, would you like me to organize this? And he said, yes. So I persuaded a number of people, that he gave me their names, to write a living tribute to Kevin. Can you imagine the benefit of getting those tributes when you're alive? They're not going to be any benefit to you when you die. Your family will get a lot of comfort from them, but you won't yourself. So I think probably that was one of the best things I was ever able to do in return to Kevin for all the things he did for me. Of course, when you work anywhere for any length of time, people die. Dr. Nadim Al-Talib was the academic director of psychology. He retired at 68. A year and a half later, he left us. Sue Prynne, one of our lecturers here, she died before she even got to retirement age. Ian Harrison died about a year and a half after retirement, after having given 44 years and 4 months of service to this university. Probably one of the greatest ever servants of this university, a remarkable man. And naturally, some of our students have left us. And that is Charlotte Tetley, who died at the age of 38. We mourn them all. The brevity of life, indeed. So I now move to my third theme, the opportunity to leave a legacy. Why I don't want to retire is I want to leave a legacy. Now, that can happen in 3 different ways. Firstly, as a psychologist, I've been privileged to have 2 careers in psychology, privileged to study a subject that is absolutely captivating and interesting, and one that continues to inspire me. Through the job here, I've been very fortunate to travel. I've been to Africa several times. I've been to China 4 times in my role as chair of the Board of Studies here. A wonderful place to work and wonderful colleagues. But we also have to give back in life. We can't just take from life all the time. It's important to give back. So I had the idea to actually do a sponsored walk from Manchester to Walsingham, Norfolk, a distance of 190 miles. Unfortunately, on the 4th day, I was medically retired. I wasn't fit for the job. My sister once said, fail to prepare, prepare to fail, and I failed. But I raised £25,000 in the process. And my brother called me up and he said, you only did 1/3 of it. Can I have the other 2/3 of the money back? It doesn't work like that, I said. Second thing, I was approached by a Glaswegian, 6-foot-tall Glaswegian. Always be careful, 6-foot-tall Glaswegians approach you. Father Jerry Bryady, and he is from the local, he's a Salesian provincial. Those of you who've been to Thornleigh Salesian College in the room, and he asked me to be a foundation governor, which is a privilege to do that. The head teacher there, Mike Fitzsimmons, but a wonderful college to be involved with. And again, an opportunity to try and give something back to the community, having had so much myself. Now, of course, some of you will be familiar with the Steve Jobs commencement address at Stanford University, one of the most watched talks around, absolutely fantastic. And the words of Kierkegaard, I was going to say, do we have any Kierkegaard experts in the audience? We've got a Nietzsche expert, but I don't know if we've got a Kierkegaard expert. And Kierkegaard said, life can only be understood backwards, but it must be lived forwards. And Steve Jobs talked about connecting the dots. And I love that Chinese proverb, wherever you drink, remember the source. Never forget where you came from and who helped you get here today. So last week, we had a PhD examination here. Stephen Hall received his PhD aged 74 years of age. The significance of that is it was his second PhD. He already had a PhD. His first PhD was in nuclear physics. And he's done a PhD here in psychology and memory linked to post-traumatic stress disorder at this university. That's what this university does. University of Greater Manchester. It offers opportunities to people who may not be offered similar opportunities at other universities. So my final slide, you'll be relieved to hear, is what to do now. And as I reflect on my life and career, the words that come to mind are the words spoken by my old mate Dave. And this is what Dave said. I was the future once. I was the future once. You are now the future. Good luck and all the best, and thank you.